Hi there, my name is Stan and I'm CEO of Tability. So I'm super excited to give you this talk here and this presentation. So it's not about setting up your workspace. We have another video for this. This presentation is really to help you understand how to use Tability. So if you've been invited by someone else and you want to understand what the platform is about and how to use it, this is going to be a perfect video for you. Same thing if you've just completed the setup and you've had a demo with us, but you want to remember how some of the things that we showed you during the demo are working, that's also going to be the video that you want to watch. Okay, let me talk about the different topics. What we're going to cover in this video is number one, how Tability is going to help you with prioritization and the tracking of OKRs. So it's just going to be like here, like a little keynote. I'm not going to do all the slides. I just want to explain the value of Tability through some slides. Second, quick reminder on how you can create OKRs in Tability. So what if you're part of an engineering team and you need to add your OKRs to a platform? We're going to look at this. We're going to look at how you can monitor OKRs for a specific department of teams, right? How you can zoom out and use the strategy map to see everything that is going on in your workspace. We're going to then talk about the check-ins. So how do people update progress on the OKRs? That's going to be super important. That's one of the main things in Tability. We're going to look at dependencies, like how you can align goals, cascade goals, monitor progress as well with direct reports and teammates. So we're going to switch that angle. So instead of being focused on teams, what if you're a manager and you have direct reports and you want to understand how your team is doing? You can look at specific individuals in Tability. So we'll see how to do this. And then we're going to finish with a task and how to create custom views in the platform. There's one thing, we'll talk through the presentation mode as well as part of the monitoring of the OKRs. And that's it. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the value of Tability. And the idea of our platform is to help you achieve what we call ruthless prioritization. And so the idea behind this is that if you think about what working on goals look like, this is normally a GIF where, he's got multiple arms and has to do a lot of things at the same time. That's exactly what it feels like. And bear with me, this is just a small story, but it's really to explain the value. Let's say that we're together, we're working as a team, and we decide we just launched a new product, and then now we can get paying customers. And we want to go from 0 paying customers to 100 paying customers in 3 months. So we're probably going to look at Stripe. But as soon as we start looking at Stripe, we have to decide, do we want to do monthly subscription, annual subscription? As soon as we have subscription, do we also want to do trials? How do people can cancel the trials? Do we want to be able to do discounts, etc.? So there's not going to be any shortage of questions that are going to emerge as we start working on that goal. And what often happens is that people, they get pulled into meetings, demos, calls, there's emails to answer. And so their attention is taken away from the core goal, which is to increase the number of paid customers. And so as you do this, it becomes harder and harder for people to understand that, hey, we need to get back to the core thing, which is are we gaining paid customers or not? And if not, and if we're mid-quarter and we're still at 0 customers, then this is really bad. It doesn't matter how much work we're doing on the Stripe integration, because what we want at the end of the day is to be able to charge, to have paying customers. And there's many other ways to do this, right? We can help, the goal of Tability is to help people make those decisions, understand when they need to cut scope, understand when things are not being on track so that they can look for alternatives. There's going to be somewhere on the web this presentation done properly, and that's something that I recommend watching if you're new to OKRs or if you're interested in knowing how OKRs work and what they can do for you. I would highly recommend that. Maybe before jumping into the presentation, there's just one thing that I want to talk about, which is this. So the cadence, one thing that is going to be extremely important for us is to make sure that you can have you have a review meeting where you're going to meet with a team on a Monday or on a Tuesday. It has to be at the beginning of the week. But the idea of this meeting is to have a discussion with everyone about the OKRs. And really, so set something in the calendar, invite the right people. Each team should have their own meeting But the goal of this meeting is to get everyone on the same page at the beginning of the week. And the more you do, like if you do this, this meeting, by the way, it doesn't have to be long. It can be 30 minutes. It's just about going through the OKRs of that specific department or that specific team and make sure that, we talk about what's green, yellow, and red. And doing that at the beginning of the week is going to help us during the rest of the week to make the right decision. So for instance, let's say that it's been 6 weeks into the quarter and we still have 0 paid customers. Then what's going to happen here is that people are going to feel that, pressure to find solutions. So maybe we're going to decide that, hey, we're not going to allow an annual subscription, or people have to contact us for support to be able to do that. Or even that we're going to start, creating people's subscription manually in Stripe directly and not through the product, because what we want is to be able to say to people, hey, you can start paying for this product now. All right, so super important to do this. I would say before you start using our product, make sure that there's a meeting that is planned and scheduled in people's calendar where we're going to talk about progress on the OKRs. Okay, so that is the number one. Now, let's look at how you can add OKRs to Tability. So if, let's say that I'm part of the engineering team and I can see here that I have my company OKRs and the other teams have created the OKRs, used sub-plans to create their own OKRs. What I'm going to do is hover over this line, then go to the end here and click on that little plus sub-plan. So I'm creating a sub-plan, and then I've picked, here, I go too fast, I pick goals and initiatives. That's how you're going to create OKRs, and I'm going to name things like this. So engineering OKRs, 2025 Q1. So I like to keep the name of the team and then the quarter, basically the cycle as part of the name, because that makes things easier to search. This is how Tability knows when to send the reminders to your team. And so if you're tracking quarterly OKRs, my suggestion is really to do weekly check-ins. So keep it to that every week option. And then this here is how you can choose, like right now we're still in Q1, so I'm going to create goals for this quarter. If I wanted to do next quarter, I would do here. If I wanted to do annual OKRs, I would go to custom and I would change the dates here. All right, so I'm going to keep it for this quarter, and then I'm going to hit create. So now I'm taken to Tability's editor. So this is a custom editor that is going to make the experience of creating OKRs as smooth as possible. It removes anything that you don't need to see out of the view. And what is super important as well was for us to give an experience that would feel like editing a doc, because an OKR plan can easily have like 15 to 20 items to it. And it would be a nightmare if you had to fill in a form for every objective or every key result and every task that you want to add to your plan. So in Tability, you can do things like this, right? So I'm part of engineering. So let's say my objective is to improve application performance. I can just start typing this and then enter tab. And now I can add my key result. And I'm going to say reduce page load from 4 seconds to 1 second. And then enter tab, and then I can start adding my task. And here I'm going to say implement the new caching system. So one thing that happened as I was typing my key result is that there was a little spinner here. And that's because as you type your goals and the key result, Tability is going to read the content and try to detect the metric for you. And that, let me do that again so that you can see. So let's say here, one of the key result was reduce the number of application performance. Let's say, let me find something. Perf related issues from 30 to 12. So normally it should be able to detect that, but it's going to be interesting if it doesn't. All right, so 30 to 12 perf related issues. Right, so now if you disagree with what has been written here, you can then switch back to the form mode by just clicking on that target. And now you have access to all the options. And here, for instance, I can say I want to make sure that people know that we're talking about page load. So I'm going to do this. I'm also going to be able to have a description field here, set up the weight, link it to a data source, etc. All right. So this is how you can add your OKRs. But if you have your OKRs in a spreadsheet, like an easier way for you to do this would be to use a magic import. And this for us, it's because we want to recognize the fact that, this is a new tool that you have to use. And there's already the goal tracking that you'll have to understand. It's not hard. We really try to create an application that is as easy as possible to use. But what we recognize is if people have built habits working with other tools, why not meet these people where they are? So it's quite likely that you've used spreadsheets and that you've had your goals written in spreadsheets. So what you can do is use the magic import and then click on that import from CSV. And then, so you need to export your OKRs in a spreadsheet and make sure that as long as you can look at that spreadsheet and understand where the objectives and the key results are, it's very likely that Tability is going to do the same. So if I show you two examples here, so here's a spreadsheet, and you have a column for the objective, you have child items here. And so it says child items at the top, but I think that because of the OKRs, I can kind of understand what's going on. And here's another format where there's a column for the objective, a column for the key result, and then initiatives here at the end. So I'll just show you what both do, right? So if I just go open this one and import from CSV, Tability is going to think about, use AI to read the content, and then it's going to populate the page for me in one go. So that's going to save me a lot of time as I'm adding my OKRs to the platform. And let's give it a try with the other spreadsheet, which was a different format. I'm going to pick this one here. And once again, do the import from CSV and see what it's going to do. There you go. Right. So you can see it understands the different format. That's not a problem. Now, all I need to do is to go here and then, first of all, pick the right owners for the different key results. But also, when you have that import happening, here you can see it says reduce customer acquisition costs by 15%. And so the first thing I want to do is maybe change that default target. So by default, things in Tability goes from 0 to 100% because you can pretty much always use that metric. But in this case, I can say, for instance, our target is 850 CAC, and we're starting at $1,000, right? So that should be 15%. There you go. The other way you can do this, especially if your goals are written like this, right? So increase ARR from X, do this from this metric to that metric, then you can click on this little thing here, which is the auto, it's going to do the spinner thing for you, right? And so it's going to read the content, detect the metric, and then set it up. And so that's another way to go quickly for all these different goals. I can do this, and then it updates all the targets for me. So this import, from my perspective, actually, I think it's super cool because it means you can, if you have 100 OKRs in a spreadsheet, you can just let your team work, in a tool that is familiar for them, where they can edit and comment and collaborate with others. And then just import it to Tability in one click. And then you publish your plan, and then that's it. Now you have your OKRs added to the platform. Okay, so that was a big section, but super important. I really wanted to cover this idea of how do you add your goals to the platform. Now, what I think would be important to talk about here is the check-ins. I'm sorry, I'm making a pause because I had a different order. I was going to talk about the monitoring of the plan, but let's talk about the check-ins, right? So here you can see I have my OKRs added to the plan, but everything is gray. So what's the next step? So first of all, the platform is going to, as we said, when we created our plan, we told Tability, hey, we need to update progress on this on a weekly basis. And so you can see the timeline. It goes from January 1st to March 31st. And on a weekly basis, Tability is going to mark the goals that are due with a little red dot here. So I can simulate that. I can do a check-in. I think if I do this, and then I delete this, it's going to show you what it is going to look like. So, let me see if I reload the page. There you go. So this, like in a week from now, like on a Monday, I'm going to get an email from Tability saying, hey, you need to update your goals. That email is going to be personalized, right? I'm only going to see the list of things that I need to update. And Tability is going to put like a little dot like this next to all the items that need to be updated. So maybe I can show you a version of that. Like if you had Tability connected to Slack, it's also going to show it to you. Integrations, Slack here. It's going to send a message like this in Slack. I would say, hey, you have 3 weekly check-ins that are due today. You can do those updates from Slack, or you can go to your inbox. It's basically your focus page and do it there. So now let's talk about like doing these check-ins. So I could go and do it from the plan, right? I can click here. I'm going to open up the key result detail panel for that specific key result, and then I can create a check-in from here. But let me show you that journey where normally what I would do is like on a Monday, I'm going to open up my focus page. I'm going to scroll down to my key results. And here you can see that I have things that here, those things are not yet required to be updated. And these ones at the top, like I need to update them. So to update progress, just click on it. As we said, do create check-in, and then here you can just like put the value for your check-in. Sorry, I have like a data source connected here from a previous demo, but basically let me show you with a different goal. Reduce page load from 4 seconds to 1 second, right? So I would click on this, I would click on create check-in, and then this here, I would go into my tool, I would look at, what's the page load today, and maybe we're like at 2.1. So because we're under that graph here, I would mark it as on track. And then what's really important for you, if you really want to use this properly, like put some effort into the check-in. A good check-in should not just say this, right? This is a bad check-in. We're at 2.1 seconds today. When things are green, you don't have to say a lot, right? But like this is maybe a better example. Let's say that we're like at 3.7 or 3.3. Okay. So in this case, this may be what I'll do, right? I'll say, hey, okay, we made some progress. But we still need to find other ways to reduce the page load. The team has some good ideas around a new caching approach, and we should be able to get it down by next week to 2.5 seconds by next week. All right, so what I'm trying to do here, and sorry, it's maybe annoying for you to watch me doing this, but I thought I want to give you a realistic experience of what's happening. What I want to talk about is like, okay, everybody can look at the graph and understand that we're not where we need to be. So that's not what's super valuable. There's already a graph of that. What's important is to tell people is like, are we going to fix this, or should we start to look at different things? Do we need help? Do you need someone else to come and help your team? So that's what you need to communicate. It's like, what's your confidence level? What happened, basically? How did you get to where you are today? And then what are you going to do to achieve the goal in time? So that's what a good check-in is. And as soon as you publish this, this check-in is going to go to other people that are watching the plan, and it's going to be shared, so you don't need to do anything else on top of that. So that's the experience of writing check-ins in Tability. If you want to complete all your check-ins, you can also hit that bulk update, and it's going to show you all the goals that you have to complete, and then you can just do it one by one here. Okay, so we have like a written guide that goes with this video, and it's got like a lot of tips around what to do with check-ins. There's another great tip, which is, I've marked something yellow. Like you don't want to have like multiple yellows in a row, like for too long. You don't want. At some point, you have to decide whether if something is going to be, red because now it's off track, or green because it's recovered. But our platform will actually suggest that. Like I think if you do more than 3 at-risk statuses in a row, then on the 4th one, we're probably going to suggest that you set something, on track or off track. Okay, so this is for the check-ins. Now let's talk about monitoring of the OKRs. So if you're someone that you have to look after multiple teams, this is the different ways you can look at progress. So first of all, come to the plan section, and from here you will be able to compare the different teams together by looking at these columns here. So the first column shows you the progress on the key results. Second one, the progress on the tasks that are attached to the key result. And the third one is the confidence score. And the confidence score, we applied basically the NPS formula, which does percentage of green minus percentage of red. And where it becomes practical is that I can look here and I can see like this team here is in a negative confidence score, which means that it has a lot of red, which I can see here. And this one is at 67, meaning that that team is doing pretty good. So I probably will want to check on that team to understand what's going on. Now, what happened, you can see that, by the way, like this is what happens when a team has not updated the goal. Like you will see like that little red dot on all the goals that need to be updated. But let me take actually the product OKRs. So when you go to your plan dashboard, like the best way for you to understand how a team is going is to click on that plan. And every team, you saw me like now doing 2 plans. Everything is going to be set up the same way, which then prevents, or not prevents, but it's going to be helpful because it's not like you have like each team using a different version of a spreadsheet or calling things different names. Right? It's like the information will always be, that you need to see will always be in the same spot. So when you open up a plan, first at the top, you're going to be able to see an overview of progress, which is pretty much the same stat we saw in the column, plus how much time is left. Then you're going to see the detail of the plan. What are the objectives? What are the key results? And then if I want to see the task, I can just expand things and see the different tasks for the key results. As you can see here, you can also connect your Tability to your preferred project management tool, and then we're going to keep things in sync, which makes it super easy for the teams because they can keep on working in Jira, ClickUp, Linear, and then we're going to sync the status that you see here. Now, if I want variety for the way this plan dashboard is organized, is the top is really core information. What are the exact OKRs that we're tracking? And as you saw when we were setting up the engineering plan, we love to be explicit about the metrics, right? So if you're tracking monthly active users, we're going to show it here, and you're going to be able to see, where we're starting, where we're going, what's the previous value, what's the change. Same, are we tracking invitations? So instead of having everything normalized from 0 to 1, we think it's more valuable for people to be able to know exactly what kind of information we're dealing with. But if I scroll down, you're going to be able to see the trends. And this here, super useful when you get to mid-quarter or the end of a quarter and you're trying to do a retrospective with your team and you want to understand like how did we get to where we are today? And you can see things like this where you can see like how confidence evolves over time. And that has been really helpful for our team to be able to understand like sometimes, we had like a bad habit of being too optimistic at the beginning of the quarter and then that confidence dropping. And now we're a lot more realistic about the things that we do. This is my sandbox, by the way. So it's like if information sometimes look weird, it's just because that's a demo platform, but it should give you like a good idea of how Tability works. Now, if you scroll down, what's going to be great about, and this is something that is a practice that we have, like whenever you click on an item, we want you to have core information about the item. We want you to have like trends about the item, and then we want you to have surrounding context for this item. And so this here, now we're looking at the surrounding context. So here I have my product OKRs, right? This is my plan that we were just looking at. But now I can go and in the same view, I can see that I can display the company OKRs to make sure that, the content of my plan is also aligned with the company OKRs. And if I go down here, I can see the sub plans, right? So I might have like 2 different sub teams, and in the same view, I can see side by side how those teams are doing. And once again, anytime, something you want to investigate something, you can just click on it to see that graph. All right, so this is how you can monitor specific departments, specific teams. Now, let's talk about sorry, sorry for the pause. I'm looking here at the list of things I have to show. So let me talk a bit more about the key result itself. So if you had to give feedback to someone, right? So sorry for that little break. Let's say that here I'm looking at this is yellow and I want to understand what's going on here. So first of all, you will always be able to, if you see something like this and you're like, oh, I want to understand why this was red, you can click on it and then we will take you to that update. That's the check-in that corresponds to it. And you can read this and understand the context. But also this here, the latest check-in that you see here, this is a check-in that we have here. And so the idea for us is to make this, like compared to a spreadsheet, we want you to be able to engage with the team and have conversation. And so if I have like a question, I can just go here and ask, add my feedback or add questions to the team. Notifications will send my message directly to these people, and they should respond in a timely manner. Another thing that is important, right? So you saw here, and we're going to talk about dependencies again. So if I want to understand what the goals are connected to, let me pause. Let me reference that. So here, let's step back. I have my company OKRs here. I have my product OKRs that are there. And as we could see before on that plan, right? It's like I might have some items, if I look at that plan here. So I might have some items that are here that I want to connect directly to one of these key results. So the way you do this in Tability is by using dependencies. And so if I click on that MAU goal, if I go to the right side here, you can see that you have relationships. And so what you can do is that you can click here to add relationships and connect things to a parent, right? If I click parent key result, it's going to pre-fill the plan. And then all I need to do is to pick the right key result. Now, those dependencies, the way you see it, so if you're in this view, I'm not going to be able to see the parent from here, but if I click on that goal and I scroll down once again, like first of all, I can see the task. But if I scroll down, I'm going to have the same idea as what we had in the plan, which is like, we want you to understand the surrounding context, meaning that I can look at my product OKRs, that's my goal, and I can see what it contributes to, right? So that little arrow that goes to the top. So this thing helps with that goal. The other way you can see those dependencies is by going to the plan here. And then I'm going to go to my top level plan, click on it. And from here, now, if I expand my different key results, and I think it was to improve customer retention, right? So if I explain my key result, you can see that on top of the task, what I can see now are the dependent key result. And for the sales goal, the revenue goal here, my sales team has linked a bunch of things. For the retention goal, my product team and my sales team have linked the different items. And one thing that I can do here is also expand this goal in turn, and then now I can see for that particular key result, I can see the list of all the work that is being done or worked on by that team. And then also, if I click on this top level, retention goal, and if I scroll down, that view here is richer because now we're looking at the main key result for us is the top company OKRs, and so we not only see the MAU goal, but we see also the other dependent key result. Okay, so all right, let's recap a little bit some of the things we looked at. So far, I've talked about the importance of the check-in, right? About that reflex prioritization and that cadence. Like I really, it's super important to commit to this weekly check-in and to have that weekly review meeting. This is going to make a huge difference for you and your team. Committing to the weekly check-in, this is what helps people have like an honest view of how things are going, and it's going to help them have a right sense of urgency. You're going to have the right conversations happening inside of your company. We also looked at how you can add plans, how you can import your data inside of Tability, how you can monitor the different teams and departments. Now, if you wanted to have a really zoom out view of your business, this is what the strategy map is for. So if you click here, what a strategy map is, it's kind of like that mini map that we're looking at, except that now you can explore your entire workspace. So I can look at the company OKRs. I'm going to have at level 2 OKRs underneath, like the engineering OKRs that we just created, marketing, product team, and then I can keep on expanding things as I need. So I just want to point one thing as well. It's like that strategy map, it always shows you the goals that are currently active. So as soon as we added those engineering OKRs, like I don't have to do anything for it to show up here. It just has to be in progress. And then at the end of the quarter, this data will be replaced by the newly active OKRs. So you don't even have to maintain this. Like there's zero work involved for your team. That view is always going to show what's going on currently. Okay, so we talked about this. We talked about dependencies. I have like just a couple more things to show you. So number one, how do you track your direct reports? And so this view here, what you can see, like actually it's a good view to make that transition. So if you're a manager and you have people, that are reporting to you, these people, they may have own key results and tasks that are spread across all of these plans. And so it's a bit annoying if you have to scan for the face or the name and then try to figure out what they're doing. The easiest way for you to do this, go here to your focus page where you could find your key results at the top. You're also going to find the tasks that are attached to you. But if you scroll to the bottom, you're going to find this thing here, which is the org network. And this here, if you click on update your network, you can set up who your manager is and who your direct reports are. And so that then creates that mini map here where if I go full screen, I can see myself, I can see the people that report to me. And then I can click on show data to see their goals and the tasks that they own at the moment. And so that is going to make, and those OKRs, they can be like done like across multiple teams, right? So, but it's the easiest way for you to understand, how the people that are closest to you, how they're doing. The second way you can look at similar information, let's say that there's someone that is part of the company, you want to see how they're doing, but they're not directly tied to you. So I would then go to the people tab, and then I would use the filters, like let's say I'm interested in Brian, I would filter on Brian, and then I would just click on his name. And then I can now go to Brian's dashboard and see Brian's key results, Brian's task, and his own org minimap. All right, so we're getting to the last two things to show you. Number one, I've been talking about tasks a lot. And so I just want to show you a couple of things here. So if you want to use task in Tability, it's very simple. Just open up this thing, your key result, and then you can start listing all the things that can help you achieve this goal. You can also edit, go into the edit mode of your plan and start adding tasks here as well. But a question that you might have, right, is like, okay, so I have two objectives here. One is to power up product growth. The other one is to turn customers into true friends. Now, if you want to know what's being done at the moment, what's currently in progress for that specific objective, it's going to be a bit annoying if you have to open up each one of the items like this, right? And then scan here for the things that are in progress. A better way to do this is to click on that task tab here. And now it's going to take you to the task mode of that plan. And we're going to basically build like a pre-built Kanban view for you where things are already, like you have swim lanes basically for the different objectives. So I can scroll down to that turn customers into true fan, and then I can look at the in progress column and see exactly what is being done by the team. And that little thing here, that's a key result that has been set as a label automatically for you. Sorry. So that's something that you might have noticed is like Tability is an opinionated tool and we make a lot of design decisions, but the idea is to reduce the amount of configuration that you have to do, right? So this comes out of the box. You don't have to set up anything. As soon as you go to a task mode, everything is already organized into per objectives. The labels are set up to be the key result. And it makes it super easy for me to scan to a column and see like, is there anything blocked for that specific objective? Is there anything that has been done recently, etc. You'll find overviews like the listing view if you want to see for each objective and key result, like the list of items. That's going to also be convenient, and you can also find a timeline view here, which for each objective, each key result, you can see the planning for the different tasks. Okay, so those are the tasks. And as we said earlier, you can connect this to your project management platform and keep things in sync as well. Okay, the last thing to show you, so I just mentioned Tability is opinionated, but what if you wanted to have like a custom view or a custom set of information? So this is what the filters and the custom dashboards are. So you can go to the filters, and here you'll find all the objectives, all the key results, all the tasks in your workspace. And if I click on the key results, by default, the filters is going to be, basically we're going to filter on the things that are currently in progress so that you don't see things from like, 2-3 years ago. And then you can do things like combining filters. Like let me show, like I want to see everything that is, for instance, at risk and off track. And then it's going to filter a platform like this. And it's super convenient because I can just click on any item here and get that context. And from that context, right, remember, like, once I open up an item, I can see the progress trends for that particular key result. And I can also scroll down to see the dependencies and the tasks that are attached to that item. If you have a combination of filter that you like, you can save it as a segment, and then it's going to appear here in the list of segments. So an example of like a RevOps risk, which shows me everything that is tagged with the team revenue ops and that is on track and at risk. The second thing you can do is to use the dashboards here. And so the dashboards, it's basically, you can create your own custom dashboard. Just click here and say test dashboard. Once you create a dashboard, you will have access to about a dozen of different widgets, which goes from a plan summary. Here you just pick up your plan, and then it's going to add the widget like this. You're going to see user profile, objective list, key result list. So for the objective list, key result list, this work with a segment, right? So you need to have like added a segment before, and then I can say, okay, show me all the RevOps risk here. And yeah, so you can compose your dashboard. Once you're happy with it, just save it, and then it's going to appear here, and then you can share it with people. Okay, so I thought I was done, but I just remember one last thing. How do you share things with other people? If I'm, we're getting now, I think there's like 37 minutes in. I've clicked on a lot of things. I hope that you paused between those different sections, that you try to follow up things. There's a document where you can basically jump to the right spot in the video to watch how to do a specific thing. But one thing that I really need, that is important, is how can you share progress with people that are not familiar with Tability? So let's take again those product OKRs. This screen here, it's going to be a bit hard to digest. Like it's actually really practical when you use the platform because you have a level of detail that you need to understand what to do. But if I was to share that with an external stakeholder or our board, like an investor is asking us to see the OKRs, what I would do instead is to click on this thing here, which is a presentation mode. Now, the presentation mode takes exactly the same data, but it presents it as a readable blog post, right? You can go top to bottom and read this. It's very convenient view to consume that information. And then if I see a specific goal like this, I can click on it and get now the progress chart, or I can click here and it looks like another slide as part of that presentation. And this thing here, if I click share, you'll see that there's a public, you can enable public access. And if you do that, you can just send that URL to someone. They won't need to have an account in Tability for them to be able to see this. Things will look a little bit different. I don't think I can show it to you here because of the way I'm recording this video. It will be in a different window, but it looks exactly the same way, except that if I go back to the plan overview, when you click on this item, instead of being a pop-up like this, it's actually a much simpler, nicer sidebar that comes out. and it's super readable for people. You also have a TV view mode, which takes the same data once again, but this is designed to be on big screen next to the teams so that they can keep an eye on the goal as they're working. All right, so this is pretty much everything you need to know to get started with Tability. I hope this presentation was helpful. If you have any question, please click on this little pop-up here and chat with our team. Like, we'll be super happy to give you like a personal tour of the features or go into more details on any aspect of the product. Thank you.